Hey guys, this is Tigress coming back to you with Minecraft Craftymon. Whoop whoop. And don't ask me why I sound more chipper or people look more happy. I have no idea. But make the most of it because I can guarantee now it will go away. Also guys, saying this now, mainly because it's the first thing that I'm recording since there was supposed to be a video come out Wednesday. I'd completely forgotten, and by the time I remembered, I was like, you know what? It can just come out Thursday instead. It was a Marvel Rise video, it'll just be a day late. Now, guys, today what we were going to be doing was basically making a doghouse. Kind of change of plans. Basically, what I am going to be doing is removing this. Now, once this is all removed, I do need to take these back a little bit. I will then, because I've done some of this. I still want this to be like a pumpkin mountain. Now, I could terraform a lot more, and I potentially might in the future. But for now, this is all kind of what I do need to terraform. I've done some of it. If you saw that, like for instance, like this was all connected. Like so, some of it was up to that level. So I've dug away a decent bit. Um, like this chest is almost full. That's like that. To a point where I do need 2 shulker boxes. The reason I'm making 2 shulker boxes instead of just making it a double chest is the shulker boxes I can put into a chest. But anyway, guys, so what we're going to do for the first part of this episode is we're going to basically be planning. We're going to be digging away most of this. We're going to be planning. We're going to terraform. We're going to make this pond, like this little river thing, look nice. I also might try and get some like fish. Might just take some buckets to get some like fish and like actual like some fish and that lot. Because guys, what this is supposed to be is a nice little pond, like a nice little river sort of thing. And it doesn't have none. So yeah, so this is what we're going to be doing today. I was going to be building a doghouse. How much room will I? That's that cut off, and that's that. I reckon that probably will be a decent amount of room to build a doghouse. Basically, this last episode I did say this episode would be building a doghouse, and when I came on earlier, because when it comes to doing preparation for work, guys, I'll say this now. Every so often, when it comes to doing prep work for stuff for Craftymon, Monster Hunter, which kind of not having to do at the minute, kind of. I've got prep work I need to do on that, but with that on a somewhat temporary break, I'm kind of fine. I might try and film a couple episodes for next week, because I am starting to get back into the mood of wanting to be like, time to hunt. So I don't know yet. So like I said, guys, I'm going to be doing this. Basically what I gotta do is I will cut at some point to like not doing this. I'm not going to show too much of terraforming, because at the end of the day, it's literally terraforming. I will show bits of it. I was kind of tempted to sort of speed this process up, but I've decided against it. It's just going to be quicker just to edit out, which is kind of funny because back when I was filming Quest, I was like, it's just going to be easier just to speed the video up, and or like speed a section of it up. But I've completely changed. Like there was things like how I used to edit that I'm like, eh. Like, even back from when, because, guys, I've mentioned 3 times, I did media in college. Like, wasn't in college for that long, but I did do it. And part of that was like editing stuff and all that lot. And I think I probably would edit differently to what I did then. Just because part of me is like, would I? Wouldn't I? Anyway, guys, but like this is just supposed to be a nice, simple, quick, easy episode. Nothing too long, nothing too. Basically, it was just like a way to get me actually to terraform. I've mentioned a few times, guys. At the minute, I've kind of been very much a case of only wanted to play Power World. It's a really good game. Now, part of me is going to turn around and say I don't know whether you have to pay for it because I can't remember. I don't think it's a free game. I think it's like 20 quid. I'm honestly not sure. Guys, the cut will probably be in so long just because I need to go fix my tools. That's going to take some time. And quite frankly, I do need a better XP farm, so I do need to make a better one. Like, my mob farm is okay, and it's been okay. But I've also done some work here. I've dug out these sides. I've planted dirt around them. What I will be doing for these is basically digging out like one by one each way and then just making it so you can jump up the path. And just because I kind of don't want to need to jump back down, what I'm gonna do when I can get out of the water is just go along by two. After I empty my inventory. But yeah, so it's gonna be a nice simple episode. Because every so often you need one. Plus guys, last week's episode I would much rather fill a few shulker boxes up than have literally so many double chests. Also guys, this is the first week that we've not had X-Men 97 to talk about. And I gotta say, missed it. Like, I'm honestly kind of, like, upset that I don't have no X-Men 97 to watch anymore. And, guys, something I have said a few times, basically, I've said a few times, like this year alone, like, I was like, I've got several cool things to watch this year. There was Invincible, there was The Boys, and then there was X-Men 97. Yeah. And then there was Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And then there was Ahsoka Season 2. Because I did enjoy Season 1. It was really cool. Not for it being an Ahsoka show. I enjoyed it for it basically being the ending to Rebels that we never got. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know whether I've got like a cold or whether I'm coming down with something, but I think I am coming down with something. So, anyway, and then I was like, yeah, I've still got a couple. I've checked recently. It's like, I was like, when's Friendly? Next January. When's it? And that was after I like already checked Ahsoka. When's that? Oh, next year. Yeah. I don't know why we're needing to wait 2 years. It's not 2 years for Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man because I think it was probably around this time last year that we got Season 1. But either way, yeah. But like, it would have been cool to see it because there was unanswered questions that I want answered for Friendly Neighborhood, for the simple reason of how the hell are they going to do Green Goblin? Because personally, part of the fun for Green Goblin is the fact of he doesn't know who Spider-Man is, and that Jesus, has not been that long. Did they update it, or has that actually been longer than I thought? But it's the fact of him not knowing who he is. And part of that charm, like for instance, the original Raimi movies. In Spider-Man 1, Goblin was several points close to figuring out who Spider-Man was. And that kind of brought up the charm. And so, I don't know how they're going to do it. Whether it's going to be a case of the Hobgoblin or not. Because another part of the Green Goblin charm is Spider-Man not knowing who he is. And yeah, I know technically speaking, the Green Goblin could still basically be the Green Goblin. But I kind of prefer it when Norman Osborn is just plotting behind everyone's back. And everyone's like, no, he seems the nicest of nicest people. And then there was Cape Crusader Season 2 this year, which was so good, and I can't wait for Season 3. I will go over the things I want for Invincible Season 3, Season 5. Cape Crusader Season 3. And X-Men 97 Season 3. I'll start off with Cape Crusaders. Do I start with... No, I'll start with Invincible first, because, like... And it's like, hold on, wait, no, 3 different franchises. I kind of want to see what, like, because we are going to see this, so... As long as we do see like, I want to kind of see Mark basically be sort of on edge. Sort of paranoid all that lot, and, like, random things going on, and it's like, wait, Butch might attack. And, like, him just waking up randomly. And I'd want to kind of see Eve being the one to comfort him. Being like, Mark, it's okay. Because, guys, the reason I say that is, well, Mark, like, Invincible's kind of got no one on Earth at the minute to sort of be like, you okay? Debbie and Paul split up, but something I didn't see coming. Because, granted, I knew in the comics, Mark and Debbie do give it another go. But I didn't 100% see the fact of them two, because I kind of liked them. And to be fair, the show's not been 100% accurate to the comics. So... But, like, Mark's currently got no one on Earth. So it would have been interesting. So, I still think it will be, but like, again, we've seen more than once how Adam Eve doesn't really get on with her parents. Granted, I don't really blame her, like, her mum seems a nice gentleman, like, a nice, good person. But it also does, like, I'm not saying her dad is an abuser, but it does definitely seem the fact of, like, it's one of those cases where he wants Bella, but he doesn't know the best way of doing it. Because, guys, I'll say this now, Invincible has a way of basically showing that father figures in that universe don't really end up being good parents. Like, don't get me wrong, what Nolan did was absolutely horrible. But, when he was actually being a parent, he was actually a decent parent. And, because, like, you've got things like, you know, Adam and Eve's, like, Adam Eve's, you know, dad, who has generally been like, don't you, like, Samantha, don't you dare walk through that door and all that lot, and, like, I will not accept your help because I'm being too much of a dick about it. Because I don't know why. Like, could Adam Eve's power theoretically break the how things work? Yeah, because she's the equivalent of, like, of an infinite chaos machine. She made a golden apple and told her dad to sell it. Yeah, I can see multiple problems with that alone. But like, we don't really have any good like parental figures in that universe. Because in the universe so far, Mang's not dad yet. That becomes later on, and even then, he's not pitch perfect. I do know the odd thing from the comics. What I probably will do is just stick out some of this, and then go and fix my tools because my shovel does need fixing. But like, I want to see Mark basically like I don't want Mark to be having like essentially panic attacks, but I do want to see him basically worried and constant and like basically overdoing it. He is one of the only protectors on Earth. Now, whether he agrees with Cecil or not, I do kind of want him and Cecil to basically have this understanding of we need each other, man. There are Viltrumites on this planet because of stuff that you went and did in space. You've brought trouble to this planet. I want to offer the help. Let me help you, and like, I want to kind of see them plotting, them basically being like, right, we've got to do what we've got to do, and I kind of want to see Annie being like, Mark, last time you worked with Cecil, it didn't go well, and like, are you sure this is the best way? Cecil helped me get stronger, Eve. It's not really an option. I need to get stronger. I kind of want him to sort of be pushing that button. But I will say this now, one thing I do not want to God them appear is a certain thing to do with a certain female Viltrumite. I think her name's Tessa. Basically, guys, in the comics, which I don't think the show will do, I will be very much surprised, considering I think in the comics, Amber gets abused, I think, in the comics, by the dude that we end up seeing her date. They've not done that. I don't think they will. I will generally be surprised if they do that. I've got a gut feeling they probably won't end up lasting, and it probably will just be a mutual thing of, for some bullshit reason, but I don't think they will. But in the comics, Mark does get assaulted by NASA. I think that's it. It's bugging me that I don't know it. NASA. Yeah, so he gets assaulted by NASA. Who plays her again? Because I've got a feeling. Yep, I remember now. Guys, the actress that plays Anessa is an actress called Chantal Vanton. Sorry for my mispronunciation. But she also played a character called Patty Spivot on Flash, which was when I was first introduced to her. But I think her better role is in The Boys as Butcher's wife, and she played a great part in that. But that part ended back in season 3. But yeah, so like, Anessa does assault Mark in the comics. I'm hoping they don't do it. Because I'm not saying that it shouldn't do storylines like that. Like, I get why soap operas, like British soap operas, do cover storylines like that, and I agree with them doing them. I think there should be cases. I do think more people should be aware that it does happen. But the reason I don't necessarily want to see it in Invincible is because then it'd be taking this really dark turn. I would much rather them change it to the fact of she tries and makes a move on Mark, doesn't really take no, but he's able to push her off, instead of Mark is then turned into the victim. I'm not victim blaming or anything. I'm not saying anything along those lines. I just don't really want to see it in the show. Yes, it is not much more of a mature show, so I wouldn't be that surprised if they cover some variation of it. I do just think it's going to be a topic that they probably shouldn't touch. I will do this a little bit. But like I say, guys, it's a storyline that I do think is just one of those cases where it's like, I would rather them mention it and not cover it. But something that I do want to see in season 5 is I want to see Rex and Mark basically go head to head, sort of being like, I will not allow you to wipe out humanity. Because as we know, he was willing to. Like, Mark's not going to let someone wipe out humanity. And Alan's in the position of now in power. Like, they suffered some great hits. Oliver was put in serious care, seriously injured after the war. Nolan and Mark were both seriously injured, but managed to, get back up stronger. I do just think that the fact of, like, they were both willing to, because one, Nolan is a strong Viltrumite. He can take most stuff. But the reason I do think Mark was able to is because of his training. And because of the fact of, I personally think if you can go toe-to-toe with Viltrumite and still be able to willingly stand up, even if you do end up losing, you deserve a clap. Like, Viltrumites don't come to play. But, like, I want to see the conflict that's going to come from Alan basically turning around saying, I'm nuking the world, I'm nuking Earth. Now, as a perspective of, do I get why and do I agree with that reason? I get it, but I disagree with the reason why he's doing it. He doesn't want to take the chance. Which I understand, and I do agree with. Like, you have a weapon that could potentially end all Viltrumites. But one, you wouldn't be hindering all of them. There's 2 Viltrumites currently not on the planet. And 2, Mark's never done anything to show that he's been hostile. Not the universe version of him that we know. There have been other universe versions, but not the Prime Universe one. All he's ever done is try to save the day. I don't think he deserves to die just because he is connected up to these people. And we also don't know how it's going to affect the human civilization. And we don't know how far in the future Invincible Season 5 will be. Season 4 ends with them sort of settling into day-to-day life. And I would much rather see a conflict of them be that, and, like, Invincible be like, no, we're doing it my way, my planet, my rule. Not like an Iron Fist sort of rule, but more of a case of, this is my planet, I'm its protector, we're doing this my way. Now, the reason I don't, also another reason I want to cover Nessa's story is, she is kind of done the least bad. Like, yeah, she tried to kill Mark, but she didn't really try to kill him, she just tried to teach him a lesson. And up to this point in the show, she's basically only followed orders. I would kind of like her to essentially get a second chance. But, like I say, I'll be happy with either way. Batman Season 3 Cape Crusaders. Stuff I want to see. I want to see a psychic get hinted at. I would preferably like Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Now, Robin does typically come first, and he's normally the first one. But the Batman did it, and Batgirl was first, and it was perfectly fine there. I'd be fine with a similar situation. The reason I say Batgirl would be a better choice is, we've seen her. We've seen Barbara Gordon. I think it'd be fine. Although I will say, considering the time era that Batman Cape Crusaders does take place in, I am much very surprised to see people of color in that type of power. Because in this universe, in the Cape Crusaders universe, Barbara Gordon and Jim Gordon aren't white, which they normally are. And considering when Batman normally takes place, it would make sense as them being white. For the simple reason of, I'm pretty sure during that time period, people of color got treated like shit, and you're telling me one of them's in the case of a police commissioner? And, like, the fact of corruption and all that lot, but either way, I don't really mind. Again, guys, I've said this before, only time I have a problem when something gets changed from, because I kind of like when things stick to the source material. I like when I can turn around and be like, oh my god, that's Jim Gordon. Because I will tell you now, we're friend name is Spider-Man. When I saw Harry Osborn and Norman Osborn, my first thought was, who are they? It's like, hi, my name is Norman Osborn. It's like, wait, you're Norman? Wait, is that Harry? Like, and again, I genuinely don't have a problem as long as the writing doesn't get fucked up. My problem then comes from the fact of shitty writing, or just bad casting, or when there are better paid people for the role. Because guys, something that does seem to probably happen a lot is, ooh, we need to fit a particular role, let's cast this person when they're not a good fit for it. And I kind of prefer comic accurate, and like, again, people like prefer comic accuracy. Do I read comics? No, but do I like characters being? Do I like being able to look at a character and go, know exactly who you are? Yes. Anyway, getting off that rant. I'd like to see a sidekick. I'd like to see more additional villains get more named. I'd love to see Bane. I'd love to see Killer Croc. I would say I'd love to see Firefly return. I'd love to see Mr. Freeze. I'd love to see Riddler back. I'd love to see Two-Face actually being Two-Face. Now, for X-Men 97 Season 3, which is already done, so I have no idea. I kind of like to see him build on what happened at the finale. Like, I'd like to see Nightcrawler come back. I'd like to see Rogue and Gambit sort of being at a point where it's like, he died to save both of us. He sacrificed himself so we could live. I'd love to see them dealing with the guilt. I want to see the X-Men dealing with the fact of losing their fuzzy friend, and I don't want to just see it brushed under the case. I'd like to see an episode dedicated to it, and them, and like someone like Rogue being like, we've got to bring him back, and trying to find a way to do it. And then her, like, reaching to a point where she's like, I've got to let him go. I'd love to see it. I also do generally want him to come back, so I'd be fine with the fact of Rogue realizing that she can't bring him back and that she has to accept he's gone, or Rogue accepting he's gone and then him coming back near the end of the season. And for the big bad of the season, I'd love to see Sinestro. Not Sinestro, Sinister. Wrong universe. I'd love to see Sinister try and get hold of... I'd love to see Sinister make a return. And, like, trying to get hold of, like, Cable again. Like, I know he kind of was the big bad for Season 1. But I'd love to see him try to take another crack at Jean and, like Scott. I'd love to see it. And, like, Cable be the one to save him to sort of rebuild that. Do I want to see him as the big bad for the full season? No. But I'd also kind of like to see the humans be the bad guys, like the big bad for the season. But I've got to get feeling someone like the big bad will probably be something like Mystique. Like, they've made an emphasis of showing that she's like back along with her brotherhood. You know, Avalanche. I think Toad's back. Pyro. Like, we see them. I'd love to see that. But I also just want to generally see for more 3 seasons, then building on how the show's ended and not just introduce something for the sake of it. For instance, the Wolverine episode that we got in this season of X-Men 97, Season 2, I thought it was kind of pointless at the time. I do kind of still agree that it could have basically been something that was done out of episode. But they did bring it up. They did make a point of showing why it was important. Wolverine got back in the adamantium claws, and it was shown in the final. Anyway, guys, I'll be back as soon as this, since I basically fixed these, and that is terraformed, because it's going to take me like an hour, and quite frankly, I've shown enough. But anyway, I'll be back for some done, and then once I'm back, I will start planning how and like what size, and like start laying down fence posts and all that lot. But anyway, I'll be back since that's done. I'm looking at this point of view for a reason, and I'll say now, from what it looked like at the beginning of the episode to what it looks like now, like the improvement alone, it's taken me a little while. I'll say now, improvements I am going to do in between episodes is, actually I can kind of show you because I've done them briefly over here. I did this a while ago when I was doing this, but basically what I did was basically sort of chisel out and make it look a bit more natural and like still come up to a bank point. Instead of tearing all this down a lot, I still kept this. And I just made it look a bit more normal. I will still probably end up doing the exact same thing. that'll be chiseled down to the bottom, and it'll just carry on going up and up until you get to a point. Like I say, I'll do all that in 2 episodes. It'll take me another couple of, I want to say probably an hour and a half to 2 hours. I don't really fancy doing all that now. Plus, I still want to get some of this done. What I am gonna do is cover that up with dirt, and maybe do some of that, like dig some of that way. But I'll say this looks so much more nicer. I've liked the mountain for a good while, and I'm gonna kind of miss it. But I'm definitely gonna like looking at the new doghouse that's gonna get built. I don't know where. I don't know where, like, part of this, like, how it's gonna look. I might temptation to build like a tiny little bridge. I do think it would be a very pointless tiny bridge. But I'll see how big the doghouse is first before I get doing anything. I did end up using additional 4 shulker boxes. Like 2 additional ones even. Can I empty? We'll take the stone out. For the inventory that much. But yeah, so like, I don't mind terraforming. It's just something that's like, do I desperately need to do it? Yeah, I'll have plenty of room. And so, but yeah, it'll all be done by next episode. But overall, I do just like how it looks. It looks so much more nicer, so much more roomier. I'm saying this now, the back of the doghouse probably will have like this nice little 2-gap around the outside. And then just so you can. Now, I did dig this all out just so I could quickly install it. Guys, like I'll say, I'm sorry that this has not been the most exciting episode of Craftymon. It is just getting to a point where I'm like, what can I do for Craftymon? What can I do to get people excited? Do I have to start jumping in lava baths and all that lot? And like, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you want to see from my content, because I'm more than happy to shake it up. Like I say, for now, see, the annoying thing is, I know exactly how what people do generally want to see from my content. They want to see terrifying monsters rip me to shreds on Monster Hunter. And I don't take a lot of offense. I find it funny how people are more than happy to willingly watch Xena Jiva or Safi Jiva, or no, more importantly, Fatalis treat me like a dog toy. It's not fun. I do recommend it though. Like, guys, if you've not played the Monster Hunter games, I recommend starting with World. Like, it's one of those games where I can say now, I've had hours of fun. I've played through that game for all those monsters at least 3 times. So, but either way, it's still a really fun game, and I do honestly recommend starting with World. You will appreciate it a lot more. Like, if you've got a PlayStation, and I 100% do recommend going from, like, I think World is a good starting point. Now, do I wish I played, like, all of them? If ever any of them do come to PlayStation, like, old ones, I would play them. Like, I would honestly give them a chance. And just because it'd be exciting to see what they're like and all that lot. And I do definitely think the Monster Hunter series is definitely a really good series. But fun story here. A lot of the games I do play now that I do honestly like, I was never going to really give him a chance. I'd never, like, before a mate was like, hey, you should play Monster Hunter. I'd never heard of the game. Now the game is on Xbox, never heard of it. I briefly told this on stream on Tuesday. I will go more in depth quickly now. But back when I got my PlayStation 4, the 4 games I picked up, because I don't know if I limited myself to 4 or whether it's just like more than 4 was just stupid. I honestly cannot remember. This was back in 2018, almost a decade ago. I was like, okay, well, I want Minecraft. I need Minecraft. Because I don't know whether it's just a case of whether I saw myself only ever wanting to play PlayStation again, or whether I was willingly just preparing myself. I have no idea. But either way, I was like, alright, I need Minecraft. So I picked up Minecraft, and then I was like, well, I want GTA. And then I was like, well, now once I need Spider-Man, and I was like, you know what, Overwatch would be a good one. Because I briefly mentioned this on stream playing Overwatch. I'd only ever briefly played Overwatch probably for about 30 minutes at most at that point. Like, I'd probably got like a couple of hours under my belt back at that point in time. Honestly, not that many hours. There'd be like 20, 30 minutes. There'd be quick play games here and there. And for the most part, barely any games. I was terrible. I was like, oh god, I'm so terrible at this game. I was just kind of miserable playing it. And at this very point in time, Overwatch now is one of my favorite games. It's a game that I love playing, and like I don't like. Overwatch, we'll say now, has been through some tough times, but I've stuck with it. Now I've seen mates willingly be like, "Nope, we give up," but I've stuck with it. Did it deserve me sticking with it? Debatably, no. Jesus Christ, how far is this hole going? And also, guys, I fixed all my tools beforehand. Like, I went up to my mob farm, fixed them all. It took a little while. I don't know what's going to see the gap, but again, I don't want there to be a gap. And I was just kind of like, yeah. But then when it came to, because I was like, because I wanted a PlayStation to play Spider-Man PS4. That probably, like, for me, my most favorite exclusive game on PlayStation will be Spider-Man. It's what got me into the PlayStation. It's what got me It's what got me on PlayStation. But for me, my favorite game probably overall is probably Gears of War. More specifically, Gears of War 4. I never did properly play Gears of War 5. I got into it, but then was like, eh. The controls felt different all that lot, and I don't know whether it was just because they were or not, but they did just feel a bit different, and I was just like, I miss Gears of War 4. But Gears of War 4 is always going to be one of my favourite games. And guys, I've never mentioned this, but my favourite games are... number 5 probably is Spider-Man PS4. I love Spider-Man PS2, Spider-Man 2, Miles Morales, like, they're both good games, but PS4 was the game that got me into PlayStation, so... number 3 is probably Gears of War. Like the series in general, but Gears of War 4 more specifically. Number 3 is probably Minecraft. It's a really good game. No, number 2 is Minecraft. Number 3 is probably Overwatch. It's been that game that I've stuck with for a good while. It's now one of the games I play a lot. I'd probably say it's tied between that and GTA. They're both games that I've played a lot. I spent hours alone just grinding on GTA, getting to good points and all that lot. And I don't regret it. And number 1 is Crash Bandicoot. It was the first game I ever played. It was that game that got me into gaming. And it will always be one of those favourite games for me. Have I ever 100% completed it? No, there have been stupid, dumb parts where I'm like, oh god, like, all a lot, and like, that doesn't. But I have got better over the time. But it is always just going to be that game that got me into gaming. Now, can I say Crash Bandicoot will always be in that top spot? No. There are some honorable, like, no case. There are some, like, cases of, like, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Number 6 is. Hold on. Number 6 is probably Overwatch and GTA. And then number 3 is probably Pokemon. Like, I love the series. Like, Sword and Shield was my first Pokemon game. I grew up playing Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, I do love Yu-Gi-Oh! A tiny bit more. But, like, I have more of a connection to Pokemon. And, like, because, like, I willingly bought a 3DS just to play, like, the, like, 3D games. And, like, the DS era games, all that lot, so if I'm willingly getting a console to play certain games, it's gonna be one of those cases where I'm either gonna be annoyed that I did it, or it's gonna be one of my favorite games in the world. But number 6 is probably GTA and Overwatch. They're probably tied. Number 7. Number 7 is probably Monster Hunter World, like the series in general. No, number 7 is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, because I love dueling in general, and I've got some fun memories of dueling. Yes, it may got me into it, but I do generally just have some really fond memories of just being like, get your game on. It's time to duel. Let's rev it up. I'm feeling the flow. Pendulum will swing my way and link into the brains. I have some really fond memories of like that because why? Because I grew up watching the odd episode of GX, but honestly, guys, back growing up, it was a case of you wanted to watch something. Say if like your favorite program started off at 4 o'clock and you weren't going to be back until 4:10. These days you could just watch it when you got back, but back then it was a case of you watched it when it was on. You made sure you were available. And yeah, it's like it wasn't as bad for me back then because there was still the odd chance to be able to record, but it wasn't as well as like because now you got the option to stream or like watch DVDs or lot. Also, guys, a nice honorable mention for for the first place. Crash Bandicoot will always have a spot, but also another one tied with number 1 is a game called Ben 10 Cosmic Destruction. It was a game that I played on 360 a lot, and it's a case of the Ben 10 series alone is probably one of my favorite series in the world. That and Batman are probably like 2 of my favorite series in the world. And then number 8 was probably the Arkham series. And you might be asking, why is it ranked lower? I overall do think the Arkham games are probably better than Spider-Man PS4, but I willingly got a console to play the Arkham game, to play Spider-Man. I was able to play the Arkham games no matter what. Like Arkham Knight is just a good game, but like I've never gone back and replayed it as much as I have Spider-Man PS4. Prefer DC, but I've just played it a lot. Number 9, is probably number 9 is probably Marvel Rivals. Even though I've not played it, even though it's not been out for that long, it probably is that number 9 spot. And number 10 is I honestly can't think of number 10. Like, I don't know what my 10th favorite game is. Correction, guys. I did figure out number 10 was. Basically, I just had to pause and double check my library. Number 10 is probably Injustice 2, and if not that, it is possibly Ark. I've had so much fun playing the Injustice games over the years. Like, they are some of my fondest memories. And I've overall just loved playing them. Didn't mean for this to be such a long episode, but it's longer than it's probably about rough normal. Anyway, guys, if you're on Reddit, please like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching. This is Cyrus signing off, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.